Louisiana homegirl.
Exactly. You got the Louisiana connection going. Who do you think wins tonight?
I got Golden State. I think this is essentially a must-win.
Yeah.
Because, look, they know as well as anybody from both sides that a 3-1 lead isn't always safe. However, to think, even if I'm skeptical about Kevin Durant coming back, period.
That's what we
right?
concluded to open our show.
It's getting
we're
ridiculous.
done with it.
Right.
Yeah.
But even if he were to come back, to expect him to be very close to KD for 3 games in 6 days after a month off, still probably with some aches and pains in the cap, that's just unrealistic. So they need to take care of business tonight. And I do think they will. Everybody right now, at least I feel like, is really singing the Raptors' praises and kind of feeling like they're going to win this thing. And look, they've been great. They've played well. They're clearly in control right now. But if you look at Game 3, they shot 50, 40, 90, only the 3rd time in NBA Finals history. They had all starters get 17 or more points. Every player for them shot at least 50%. And they still, it was a 7-point game with 10 and a half minutes left. And several times in the 3rd quarter. So, and you never, because of Golden State's 3-point shooting ability, it never totally felt until the very end like, well, it's over now.
Right.
You know, by the way, you know who scored the 2 baskets who, stemmed the bleeding at that point, who put it back to 9 and 11? Ibaka. So what I'm saying is they even got Ibaka, and he had 6 blocks, so he doesn't even count in your starter.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So, but that's a great point. So they still were within striking distance.
They were.
With all those great statistics that Toronto, there's no way they're duplicating that, Toronto. Like, they may play well, but 50, 40, 90 and all the other stuff, that's not happening. So I think Golden State will win. I need 20 plus from Klay. Yeah. I need 20 plus. Like, I think Steph's going to have a big game, in part because he has to. Like Draymond scored 17. Well, somebody has to score at some point other than one guy. So I think Steph's going to have a big game, and I need 20 plus from Klay. I believe Draymond will play big. I think he's the X factor. If Draymond doesn't play well, I think it's going to be tough for them to win. And I don't see him having 2 subpar games in a situation like this. I think what happened in Game 3, as good as he is not a number 2 guy.
No.
You know, right. Offensively, he's not a number 2 guy. And he was in that position in Game 3. So I think now with Klay back, he'll be able to be the utility guy that he is. I expect some playmaking from him. I expect some good defense on Siakam to keep him in control. So I do think that the Warriors will be able to pull this out.
You realize what you just did? You just killed my chances of winning 4 more cases of Diet Dew, because I was watching his eyes, and as you spoke, he's like, you're right.
Because every time I pick Brousard, we both go down.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to take the Warriors, Skip, because I believe Klay.
Wait a second. You were leaning Raptors.
I was.
You made a strong case for the Raptors until you heard
So it was
case.
over, right? You thought it was over.
Because, man, I just wish I knew. I wish I could just have my crystal ball. Sharpadamas would come before me. Little genie sit on my shoulder, says, Klay go play 30 minutes tonight, and he's going to give what Chris Brousard said, 25 points. But I do believe he'll play long enough. I believe he'll play well enough. The question is, I'm not worried about his offensive on the offensive end. I'm worried about the defense. Because in 7 games, they've been behind by double digits in the first half, going back to the Portland series. That's not a good sign for someone to shoot 50, 40, 90 against you. You're not playing very good defense, Skip, if someone can do that. And that's where he also helps. Yeah, they need scoring. Am I concerned about Steph's workload? I'm really not concerned, Skip, because he doesn't carry a workload like LeBron. His game is different. LeBron's game is physicality. LeBron's game is Earl Campbell, Marshawn Lynch.
It is.
Run you over, collision, high contact.
I agree.
Steph Curry is more Emmitt Smith, Barry Sanders. I'm going to make you miss. I'm going to get someone to set screens for me.
Yep.
I'm not really going in there where I got to take a whole lot of contact. So I do believe he'll be fine. But for me, I don't want the ball in Draymond Green's hand. I want the ball in Steph Curry's hand. Because Steph Curry is, because Draymond is the facilitator. Draymond is the guy that's going to pass.
You mean if you're Toronto?
If I'm Toronto, yeah. I want the ball in I don't want the ball in Draymond's hand, because if Steph has it, he's probably going to shoot it, and he's not going to get a whole lot, because his impact is different. His impact is different than, guys that can, like a LeBron James or Russ, that can get you 15, 16 assists. That's not what Steph does. He got, 8 assists the other night. I want him to shoot. I don't want him to get nobody else involved. Because, see, Draymond has the ball. He going to mess around and get Steph and Clay involved.
And some big men, too.
Yeah, so I know I don't want Draymond to have the ball. But I'm going to take him. But that's how much time we got. We got an hour and 12 minutes. That's subject to change.
How do you know that? Are you like timing the show? What do you?
I got to time how much you talk. Because last couple of days, I've been short on the talk time.
You've been short on the talk time?
Yep.
Because the only way you ever even hold your own is by ball control. You just ball control me to death. You know, I just don't have time to talk because we got to go to break.
I've been short on the talk
Jim
time.
just keeps interrupting me, and I'm like, well, I haven't even spoken yet.
I've been short on the talk time. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate for you that I picked Toronto to win game 1, and I picked Golden State to win 2, and I picked Toronto to win 3, and I told you 2 days ago I'm picking Golden State tonight to win 4, and then Toronto 5, and then Golden State 6, and Golden State 7 at Toronto. Golden State in 7. I have not wavered. I have not flipped or flopped, as somebody at this table constantly does.
Chris Brousard,
No,
I picked Golden State. I'm sticking with my Golden State.
Yeah.
6. I mean, the games don't matter. It's Golden State.
they
Wins,
win.
right, as long as they win.
The betting public and maybe even the odds makers are now prisoners of the Game 3 moment because it was a sensational performance by the visiting team. They can't play. I just don't think they could play better than that. No. I know it's theoretically capable. They could play a little better. They could make every shot, right?
Well, you know what I did?
They could go.
I said that about your Spurs. I said they're not going to keep shooting threes like this, and guess what they did? For 5 games, they shot threes just like they did in game 1.
That was when they blew LeBron's team off the floor by a record finals
and I heard everybody say, they can't keep shooting like this. Guess what? They kept shooting like that.
Maybe LeBron should have played a little defense.
You know what?
Right?
On everybody?
On everybody. He's a great perimeter defender. That's what they used to tell me.
He was then.
So, again, even after the Clay news broke yesterday, the betting public kept betting the spread down. It went from 5.5 to 4.5. So Golden State's a 4.5-point favorite. But I'm going to remind everybody, they're still favored by 4.5 points tonight. And that is now pretty much a done deal without Kevin Durant. Even though the odds makers say, well, for the series, we still have to, we slightly favor Toronto because there's no Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I don't care without Kevin, and now it's clearly without. Golden State's going to win this series. I told you earlier 2 days ago, I said with or without Klay Thompson tonight, they're going to win. So what are we going to see from Klay Thompson? Is he going to be the primary defender on number 2 tonight? He just can't be. The hamstring is too dicey. It's obviously.
Who you going to put him on? You can't put him on Siakam. He's too small for Siakam.
Right? Who?
Klay.
Well, you just put him on anybody. You almost have to hide him like you try to hide Steph.
Yeah, I think you have Iguodala on Kawhi
and maybe
then
Draymond
on Siakam.
But occasionally
switch
Draymond will
times,
take some number 2. So the point is, the reason Klay Thompson is so valuable is he turns Steph lethal again. You can't double Steph anymore.
Correct.
You can't try to force the ball out of Steph's hands. You can't force him to take ridiculous Hearts of Champions kind of game because it's desperate. This is going to be 3-ring pride, and all those other guys are going to come to play. DeMarcus Cousins just didn't show up the other night. He didn't understand because he's never been at this level what's about to happen, how adjustments get made, even in a psyche. Marc Gasol has played in a bunch of these games. I know he hadn't played in finals, but he's played against my Spurs in some big, bad battles. And he gets the fact that in a pivotal game 3 for his team, after they blew game 2 down the stretch at home, you come to play. And he came with a whole new energy the other night where DeMarcus is just shell-shocked. Like, he's beating me to every ball, every rebound.
But in the games 1 and 2, he was looking to pass the ball out of the high post. But this time, he put it on the floor going to the hoop.
Right.
He's like, I'm not selling for no jumpers. I'm not looking for anybody. Okay.
And how'd that work out?
Layup.
That was a great point because it looked like Boogie was treating it like a regular season game in February.
No.
Like, like he didn't get it.
Didn't get it.
And like you said, he's never been on this stage.
Nope.
I do expect him to come back and bounce back.
too.
He's got some pride.
He's got pride.
I'm sure he feels like he's better than Marc Gasol.
Yeah.
So you think
he knows he's better than Marc. And I have respect for Marc because Marc can do it with his head as well as
if he's healthy, he's way better than Marc Gasol. But at this stage, where he's come back from, Achilles and quad, is he better than Marc Gasol at this juncture
yes,
right now?
He can be. Yeah. He will be tonight. And Draymond Green's going to play like a Hall of Famer because I believe he is on a Hall of Fame arc.
Yeah, he going.
And you made the point yesterday, even though the numbers looked okay on the stat sheet, it wasn't a Draymond game.
Not at all.
He didn't take the game over in all of his little big ways that he can take it over. And I do think he'll have a triple-double.
You got me leaning towards the Raptors. You seem pretty confident.
I'm very confident. That's making you lean the other way?
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't. It should make you say,
no
mas.
Because you've been wrong.
When am I been right on every game this series?
I do differ with you on if Clay doesn't, like if he can't go or he tweaks it early and has to sit and just doesn't play well, I think it's going to be tough without
Okay, now if he re-injures, like just pulls it or he's gone for the rest of the series, it's going to be hard to win. But they're still going to win tonight. That's a proud basketball team.
They're not winning without Steph and KD.
They will tonight.
You mean the series?
Yeah.
Without
the
Clay,
series would be difficult.
Without Clay and KD, they're not winning.
It would be difficult. And
impossible.
I'm going to bring it up one more time because it's just such a fascinating concept that Jeff Van Gundy brought up the other night. He said this team I'm watching in Game 3, the Golden State team, would not have made the playoffs this year. And I can't process it because what are we saying about Steph? He's a 2-time MVP, and you're saying you would have him and you'd have Draymond, who's a 3-time All-Star and a former Defensive Player of the Year, who's still in his prime.
Right.
And you'd have DeMarcus Cousins. He looks relatively healthy. So you'd have those three.
So is that Boogie as he was in Game 3 or now, or Boogie, the All-Star,
I'll
healthy
take
Boogie?
Boogie in Game 2. No. Boogie was good in Game 2.
Iggy and Livingston, they're not making no playoffs.
Yes, they are.
The question, here's the challenge. First of all, LeBron played, 66 games? Something like. They didn't make the playoffs in the West. So it would be tough, but who's the second scorer? Like, if you look